Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. Now we'll be having use of English, and remember the topic was noun phrases, and I'm going to be moving to the functions of noun phrases. But before then, let me give you a quick review. I told you that a noun phrase, okay, so we have use of English, and we're looking at noun phrase. I told you that a noun phrase refers to a group of words which performs the function of a noun. That means a noun phrase functions the same way as a noun does, which means a noun can function as a subject of a verb. It can equally function as an object of a verb, as a subject complement, as an object complement, even as a prepositional complement. All right, so these are the functions of noun phrases. Now remember, a single noun could possibly function as a noun phrase. Even a single pronoun can equally function as a noun phrase. Is that taken? Now remember that for you to form a noun phrase, there are different elements that makes up a noun phrase. For instance, anytime you combine an article with a noun, you will definitely form a noun phrase. So if you combine possessive pronoun with a noun or possessive adjective with a noun, you will generate a noun phrase. If you combine demonstrative, whether it is singular demonstrative or plural demonstrative, you would form a noun phrase. I hope that is clear to you. Now, if you combine petitive with a noun, you will form a noun phrase. What are petitives in English language? Petitive refers to words that helps to either make a word singular or to make it plural. Usually, there are some nouns in which you cannot pluralize except to use petitive. Those nouns are called non-count nouns. Do you understand? Non-count nouns are generally regarded as singular, all right? It means that you don't place an S to them. For instance, if you have a word like information, it is wrong for you to place an S to it. If you have a word like equipment, it is quite wrong for you to place S to the word. If you have a word like luggage, you can't say luggages. If you have a word like staff, you can't say staffs. All right. So these are non-count nouns. So for you to pluralize each of those words, what you're supposed to use is known as petitive. Now, petitive refers to a word or a group of words that helps to pluralize a non-count nouns or even to render a non-count noun singular. In the case of information, you can rightly say, all right, a piece of information, or you say pieces of information. Do you understand that now? Now, you can say a pair of furniture. Do you understand? Now, it's possible for you to say that. Then you can also say a set of equipment or sets of equipment. Do you understand? You can say a piece of advice or pieces of advice. So a piece or pieces of is regarded as petitive. I hope that is taken. So it is important for you to note how a noun phrase can be formed with this combination. I started by saying if you combine an article plus a noun, the article can be a definite article or an indefinite article. You generate a noun phrase. If you combine an adjective with a noun, you generate a noun phrase. If you combine possessive with a noun, you generate a noun phrase. If you combine demonstrative with a noun, you obviously generate a noun phrase. And then if you combine petitive with a noun, you will generate a noun phrase. So these 5 factors are very important in generating a noun phrase. Now let's proceed to the functions of the noun phrases. Now let's examine what are the basic functions of the noun phrases. What are the basic functions of the noun phrases? So let's examine the functions of the noun phrases. So the first aspect is known as subject of a verb. Is that taken? So it means that a noun phrase will function as the subject of a verb. Now, what this simply means is that what will constitute the noun phrase could either be any of that combination I mentioned to you, which is article plus a noun, or you can have demonstrative with a noun. Any of that combination could form a noun phrase. And remember that the noun phrase must be functioning as the subject of a verb. That is functioning as the subject coming immediately before the verb. So the noun phrase is the subject that is coming before the verb. It equally functions as the subject of that sentence. But in terms of positioning, it must occur before the verb in the sentence. So what we mean by subject of a verb is that the noun phrase will perform the function of the subject coming before the verb. It is equally the subject of the entire sentence. Let's take that. The noun phrase functions as the subject of the verb. Subject of the verb. It occurs immediately before the verb. So it occurs immediately before the verb. Now, in terms of positioning, like I explained to you earlier, the noun phrase would occur immediately before the verb. So the noun phrase is most likely what you would find as the first aspect of the sentence, after which you will find the verb, then every other pre-modifiers, like the object or the complement or the adjunct. I hope that is clear to you. So let's take an example to this effect. So e.g., look at this. The young man went for an interview. Look at this. Now, this is a particular sentence. Class, I would like you to understand this very well. So you have the young man went for an interview. Okay? Now, what do I want you to do here? I want you to identify the grammatical name, identify the function, and state the structure of this sentence. Do you understand that? So what you're supposed to do is tell me the analysis. Then after which you have the grammatical name, the grammatical function. Then you proceed to the structure of this sentence. Let's take that one after another. I'm going to start with analysis. What is this? This is a definite article. So I'm writing DA. Plus what? What is young? Young is an adjective. That is adjective of age. Then what is man? Man is a singular noun. So remember, class, if I combine this together, I will form a noun phrase. What is the function of this noun phrase? The young man is functioning as the subject of this sentence. Do you understand that now? Now, what is went? Went is a verb plus ed. That's a verb plus past. That is a verb in the past tense form. Then for is a preposition. Okay. Then what is that's indefinite article. So you have indefinite article. What is interview? Interview is actually what? Actually a singular noun. Remember that if I combine this together, I will equally form a noun phrase. Do you understand? But that's not the concentration. The concentration is on the subject. Do you understand? That is, the noun phrase will function as the subject of the sentence or as the subject of the verb. And in terms of positioning, I told you that the noun phrase must come immediately before the verb. So you can see that the noun phrase is what? The young man. Is that taken? Now, what do you have as a structure of this sentence? So one went for an interview. Okay. So here you have the object. You have the object. So I've been able to analyze this particular structure. So now if I ask you, this is GN, that's grammatical name. Remember, what is the grammatical name of this underlying expression, the young man? The grammatical name of this underlying expression is what? Is a noun phrase. How is the noun phrase? Number one, it is only a noun phrase that you can combine with this. Definite article plus an adjective plus a singular noun. It's only a noun phrase that you can combine to form with this particular element. Also, Another thing I need you to know is that it is a noun phrase because it's functioning as a subject. Every other phrases may not function as a subject of the sentence. For example, adjectival phrase cannot function in that pattern. All right? Adverbial phrase cannot function in that pattern. So this is a noun phrase. And what is the function? So grammatical function. You can see that this is the noun phrase functioning as a subject of the sentence. Okay? So here you have as a subject of the verb. So what's the verb there? Went is the verb. So you place that in quotation marks. So the noun phrase is functioning as a subject of the verb. What's the verb there? The verb is went. So remember that our major function is what? Subject of a verb. So now the noun phrase is functioning as the subject of what? Of a verb. What's the verb there? Went is the verb. So it means that the noun phrase is making reference to the verb. The man. What happens to the man? The man went for an interview. So you can see that the noun phrase there is making reference to the what? To the verb. Now, what is the structure? What is the structure of this sentence? So I'm writing the structure here. So the structure is what? So you have subject, which is the noun phrase, verb, can you say that now? And you have object. So you have SVO. So SVO is the structure of this particular sentence. So take a look at it now. You can see what I've done there. I've given you the analysis. By analysis, I mean I'm able to tell you what each word represents. For example, the THE is a definite article. The young is an adjective. I'm able to tell you what each word represents in terms of their word class or parts of speech. Is that okay now? Now I'm going to give you one to attempt, still on subject of a verb. Remember, still on subject of a verb. Let me underline this for emphasis. So still on subject of a verb. Now, I need you to attempt this for me. So you have the leather bag was found on the floor. The leather bag was found on the floor. Please, I want you to attempt this for me. Okay, class? So I need you to attempt this immediately. Let's go. Make an attempt of this. Tell me, what are you supposed to do? I need you to tell me the grammatical name, tell me the grammatical function, and the structure of this particular sentence. Can you try that out? Let's see. I would just want you to make an attempt. Even if it is wrong, just make an attempt. Let's see. All right? Your time starts now. Quickly attempt it. All right, now look at this particular question. You have the leather bag was found on the floor. So what are you supposed to do? The first thing that you would have to do here is to analyze each word. Okay? Okay, what part of speech does each word represent? Now let's take that. You have, this is THE, the. That's the definite article. Plus what? What's leather? Leather is a singular noun. Okay, plus bag. What's bag? No, leather is an adjective. Instead, what's bag? Bag is a singular noun. So if you combine this all together, you form a noun phrase. Is that taken? So was. What is was? Was is you have verb plus ed, all right, plus was found. Found is main verb plus ed. Now the main verb present there is find, all right. Then the ed form is the past tense form of find, which is found. So if you combine this together, you form a verb phrase. Are you with me now? So now on is what? On is a preposition. That's prep. Then what is THE? That's a definite article. Plus what? What's floor? Floor is a singular noun. If you also combine this, you form a noun phrase. Is that taken? Now look at this. The leather bag was found on the floor. The leather bag was found on the floor. The emphasis is on the leather bag. So now talk to me. What's the grammatical name of the leather bag? That's what? That's a noun phrase. Remember. Now don't forget that we have two noun phrases here. The first noun phrase and the second noun phrase. Well, our attention is on the first noun phrase. So the second noun phrase is functioning as an object. Can you see that now? So that's our attention. Our attention is on the first noun phrase, which is functioning as the subject of the sentence or subject of the verb. Why? Because the letter bag is making reference to the verb. Now, what's the grammatical name? The grammatical name is noun phrase. That's a noun phrase. And what's the grammatical function? The grammatical function is that this noun phrase, the letter bag, is functioning as the what? As the subject. Subject to what? Subject of a verb. Okay? Or subject of a verb phrase was found. Anyone is fine. So you have as a subject of a verb, or you can have verb phrase as a subject of a verb or verb phrase. And what's that? The verb phrase is was found. Now, what is the structure of this sentence? What was the structure of this sentence? So the structure you have, this is subject, that's S, was found is the verb, that's V, and you have the floor, that's O, that's a subject, verb, and object, that's SVO, okay? You can see that we're able to get the structure. This was exactly what I want you to do. How do you identify the function of a noun phrase as the subject of a verb? Now, it means that the noun phrase will function as a subject, all right, coming immediately before the verb. Also, the noun phrase will be making reference to the verb. That's just the meaning. It will function as a subject coming immediately before the verb, and it will be making reference to the verb. For instance, if you have the leather bag, okay, what happens to the leather bag? Leather bag. We were told that the leather bag was found. So was found is where the emphasis is. So was found. Found where? So was found on the floor. Can you see that now? So the same happens to this. You have the young man went for an interview. So you have the young man, which is the noun phrase, function as a subject. Okay? So here you have the noun phrase function as the subject of the sentence. And you can see that it's occurring first at the very beginning of the sentence, and it's coming immediately before the verb, and it's making reference to the verb. Those are the things that you look out for in order to identify the subject of a verb. Is that taken? So now let's proceed to the next function, which is number 2. Let's proceed to the next function, which is number 2. So number 2 is known as object of a verb. Object of a verb. So what do you mean by object of a verb? Now, in this case, the noun phrase would function as the object coming immediately after the verb in the sentence. Can you see that? So whatever will constitute the object must be a noun phrase in that sentence. So the noun phrase will function as the object in that sentence, and it must occur immediately after the verb. Okay? And remember that the object will also be making reference to the verb. Are you with me now? So let's take an example. Or before then, let's take a definition. So you have the noun phrase. The noun phrase would function as the noun phrase will function as the object of the verb. And it would make reference to the verb in the sentence. To the verb in the sentence. It would make reference to the verb in the sentence. Like I explained to you previously, when you have object of a verb, what you simply mean is that the noun phrase will function as the object in that particular sentence, and it must be making reference to the verb. Okay? Let me give an example. So I have e.g. I saw the old woman yesterday. I saw the old woman yesterday. Is that okay? So look at that sentence. I saw the old woman yesterday. Now, in this case, you have I is a subject. Saw is what? That's verb plus ed, verb in the past tense form. Then this is a definite article. plus old. What's old? That's an adjective. Plus what? What's woman? Woman is a singular noun. So if you combine this all together, you form a noun phrase functioning as what? Functioning as the object. As the object. Why yesterday is what? Is an adverb. Adverb of time. Is that taken? So what do you have? You have subject, you have verb, you have object, and you have what? Adjunct or adverb. So that's the structure of the sentence. Now, what is the grammatical name? That's GN. The grammatical name of this underlying expression, the old woman. What's the grammatical name of that underlying expression, the old woman? That's a noun phrase. Okay? That's a noun phrase. Now, remember, grammatical function, we've identified the grammatical name, which is a noun phrase. Now, what is the grammatical function of this underlying expression? Okay, the old woman. You can see that this is I is the subject, saw is the verb. Then you have what? The noun phrase, which is the old woman, is functioning as the object. Object of what? What's it making reference to? It's making reference to the verb. So the old woman, what happened? I saw. Can you see? So it's making reference to saw. So you have as what? As object. That is, the noun phrase is functioning as what? As object of the verb. As object of the verb. What do you have? Saw. So as object of the verb saw. I've been able to analyze this. So please look to the board and see this. Now I'm going to give you a drill based on the second function, which is what? Object of a verb. Can you see that now? So I'm going to give you a drill based on the second function, which is object of a verb. Now on this drill, I'd like you to understand the one that I've solved on the board, after which you could use that to attempt, okay, this particular drill. So now take this. I met our English lecturer yesterday. So class, yes, this is an example. I met our English lecturer yesterday. So what are you supposed to do? I need you to analyze this sentence for me. All right, so from there, identify the grammatical name. That is, just combine a noun phrase from this structure of sentence. Combine a noun phrase and tell me the grammatical name of that noun. Of course, it's going to be a noun phrase. Then tell me the grammatical function. Now, what is that function that the noun phrase is performing? It's going to be number 2, which is object of a verb. It's going to function as object of a verb. So how are you going to identify the noun phrase? Then how are you going to state the function? And I also need you to tell me the structure of the sentence. 3 most important things: the grammatical name, the grammatical function, and the structure of the sentence. Before you can achieve these 3, all right, you must be able to analyze this sentence. So let me allow you to do that now. Let me allow you to attempt it now. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is a drill, and I need you to attempt it based on the explanation I've given. What are you supposed to do? Now, analyze each of these, okay, word. By the analysis, I mean, tell me what I represent. Met, our English lecturer yesterday. So you have to identify, based on what I have done here, you need to identify what each word represents. After which, identify the noun phrase for me. That's the grammatical name. Now, state the function of that noun phrase. Obviously, it's going to be object of a verb. So how are you going to identify the object of a verb here? Once you're done, the last thing to do is tell me the structure of the noun phrase. By structure, I mean, take a look at this. You have subject, you have verb, you have object, and you have an adjunct or adverb. Is that taken? So this is basically on this. Now let me re-explain this for your understanding, so you'll be able to use the knowledge to answer this. Okay. Now here, I saw the old woman yesterday. So I is the subject, saw is the verb in the past tense form. I hope you understand that. Now, the, there, is the definite article, plus what? Old is an adjective of age. Then you have woman, which is a singular noun. If you combine that structure, you would form a noun phrase. And this noun phrase is functioning as the object. Okay? So it's functioning as the object. I want you to look at this particular sentence. I saw the old woman yesterday. So I is the subject, then saw is the verb in the past tense form. That's why you have V plus ED. And the ED there means that it occurred in the past. Now, there, that's THE, is a definite article. Then old is an adjective, you can see. Then woman is a singular noun. So if I combine this structure together, which is